All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers. And my passion is helping people on their e commerce journey, helping them to get organized, to get focused, to be consistent in their e commerce business, to establish goals, and to achieve those goals. So, if that is you, if you need some help getting organized, getting focused, staying consistent in your e commerce business, I want you to know that I'm here for you. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me so we can begin the process of helping you to get organized and getting consistent in your business. If you are looking for some tools to help you to get organized, I do want to invite you to grab the My Ecom Planner. We currently have the digital version of the Ecom Planner 40% off at this point. You can go to myecomplanner.com and grab the digital version. If you need to schedule a coaching session with me so that we can build your schedule out, you need someone to help you to be accountable, to help you to stay more consistent, then you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session. And last but not least, if you need some support on your journey, regardless of your e commerce method or approach, you can join eCom Sellers Academy. We cover everything from private label to drop shipping to retail arbitrage, you name it, we cover it. And we have a library of over 200 training videos. We have a Facebook group, and we also have live weekly trainings. In addition to that, as a member of eCom Sellers Academy, you'll gain access to 10 retail arbitrage, online arbitrage lists every single week, and also 10 wholesale supplier lists. You can establish your wholesale accounts. So you can go to ecomsellersacademy.com to join there. So every day we come here and we talk about what it is we need to be doing in our business to achieve our goals, whatever our long term goals are, whether it is to become $1 million seller or whether it is just to make a little extra money to be able to go on that cruise vacation. Whatever it is, your passion for your e commerce business, we talk about different ways in which to get there. And the center of it all is making intentional decisions every single day and being consistent. So we're taking intentional action every day, we're staying productive, and we're moving forward to whatever those long term goals are. If this information is helpful to you, I do want to invite you to share this out. Let somebody else know about the daily ecom planning sessions because we would love to be able to help them on their e commerce journey or just to plug them in to help them to see what are the things that they could be doing or should be doing in their e commerce business in order to turn their current maybe side hustle into a full time gig or into a full time business. I do also want to invite you to the weekly planning session. The weekly planning session is around 7:15 on Saturdays, and that's where we plan for the week that's coming up. So that will be Saturday tomorrow, and we have the monthly planning session, which is the last Sunday of each month, where we plan for the next month. This last Sunday in June, we will be preparing for, of course, closing out Q2. So we want to finish Q2 strong, and we will be preparing for the start of Q3. Extremely important. So I invite you to join us for those sessions as well. The other thing that I wanted to say is that, this information that we share is really intended to help you to make the progress that you are wanting to make in your business, whatever that vision is that you have for your business. So I would encourage you to come back, listen to the replay, and really kind of get settled into the fact that this really could be your solution long term. Not going to say it's going to be the easy way or the easy road, but I am going to say that selling online, there are aspects of it that is a simple business. And all you need to do is to get focused and stay consistent. There's always going to be things that you have to deal with. There's things you have to deal with in your full time job or your part time job, or if you're a stay at home person, either any of those. There's always challenges throughout our life. And so you'll have to deal with those. But I will say that it is a viable solution to whatever it is that you're wanting to achieve in your personal life. And you can use this vehicle of e-commerce to help you get there. Doesn't matter if you're selling on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, Walmart. Doesn't matter what your e-commerce method is. You can make it work for you. So, with that being said, our topic for today is how to fire your boss. So I actually am bringing up two articles because we have an opportunity to talk today. This week has been a little challenging making the shift to my kids started school. Both of my boys, one's in track and track summer track practice early in the morning, and the other is actually going to school. So, as you know, I have two special needs kids, and one of them is an ESY. It's called Extended School Year, and he goes to school Tuesday through Thursday. So Tuesday through Thursdays will probably be our shorter sessions as I try to pull my morning routine together, or maybe try to get up at least 15 minutes earlier. And Mondays and Fridays should be a little bit longer. We'll still be on track for what we do on Saturdays as well. You can download the daily ecom planning checklist directly in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So you can go there, download the daily checklist. You can also download the weekly, and you can download the monthly. So, with that being said, let's talk about what you need to do to make the shift to making your side hustle your full time gig, being an entrepreneur full time. So, this article comes to us from Inkfile. Inkfile. So, you can go to inkfile.com. I am showing this article in the e commerce planning Facebook group. I'm also I'm reviewing it on Clubhouse. So, on Inkfile, this particular article, it says the title of the article says you can find it yourself, how to make the switch from your full-time job to being an entrepreneur. Okay. So the first thing is look for market demand. Um, I think that is good. And again, we're doing an assessment of articles. So we're going to see how realistic or honest it is. I do feel like the majority of the ones that I pull are fairly realistic and can apply to e-commerce. It could also apply to other things, but so look for market demand. So as an e-commerce seller, you definitely do need to make sure that the products that you are selling are products that customers are looking for. That is extremely important and paramount to your success. They have to be products that either are regularly selling, like replenishables, and so you will always have a steady stream of income, which is extremely important if you're looking to make this your full time gig, or that they will be in demand. So, whether there's an interest there, whether it's a problem that you're solving, a need, it's extremely important that you make sure that you look for products that are in demand. So if you want to make this your full time gig, you need to begin the process of doing gradually getting better at product research and gradually getting better at sourcing. Those two things are going to be extremely important. Gradually getting better at product research, gradually getting better at sourcing. Because if you don't get better at those things, then you may not be finding the products that are going to help you create a sustainable long term income as an e commerce seller. So you're trying to fry your boss, you definitely need to do those things. Number two on the list is start with a side hustle. So definitely starting off small, which is what our e-commerce for most of us. Most people didn't start their journey selling on Amazon immediately as a full-time thing. They did start it as a side hustle, something extra to do or something to test out, something to try to see if they could make money doing this thing, or to see if they were interested in it or if they liked it. Okay. Most people don't just wake up and say, I'm going to be an Amazon seller and I'm just going to go do it. Okay. Now, do they get to that place? Yeah, absolutely. There are some people that get to that place. They try it out to see if it'll work. And once they figure out that it'll work, they figure out how to scale it. And so they make it work for them. But in most cases, people don't start off with, hey, I'm going to graduate from high school and become a full time seller. Unless they've been selling with their parents and watching their parents do it, not the thing. So I would say that probably 90% are like, this is a side hustle, or maybe even 95. And 5% have made a decision that this is what they want to do. So once people figure out that this thing is actually doable, then they go, okay. Now they do have a list here of online, things that people have said that side hustles that generate the highest income. The one that is the highest, ironically, is investing. E-commerce is on here as their side hustle. There's a bunch of other things. It says online business, freelancing, investing, ecom, local services, self publishing, YouTube, software, and gig economy. So these are all side hustles that they have on that list. The next one is give yourself time. Absolutely. You do have to have a long term plan. Okay. Long term plan. Again, the majority of people don't just wake up and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Like kids, when they're little, they say, I'm going to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a whatever. They don't just say, I want to be an e-commerce seller. They don't, that's not what little kids do. So, um, then if that's the case, again, you need to have a long-term strategy or plan. Your exit strategy can't be quick unless you figured out something that the rest of us have not. Most people, it is a journey, and I would encourage you to start with a minimum of 6 months before you pull the trigger. Longer term, for some people it might be 18 months before they can pull the trigger. So, and there's different reasons why it may take you longer to be able to do that, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But um, definitely consider figuring out what you need to do in order to, how much time you need in order to do this. So whatever that happens to be, because sometimes we're lucky. Some people are very lucky and they find that product immediately and it sells like hotcakes. And then eventually other people get on the listing, or other people find a similar product or create a similar product. And so there's a minute where you're riding the wave by yourself, and then other sellers jump on it. And then you're no longer riding the wave by yourself. You got a little bit of competition, and you got to stay ahead of your competition. Um, and so on that journey of staying ahead of your competition, you're always having to find potentially new products, or somehow enhancing, modifying, making your product better over times, or showcasing it differently, or running better ads in order for you to stay ahead of your competition. If you're lucky enough to be able to find a winner out the gate, congratulations to you. But for those of us, it is a little bit of trial and error. It is a little bit of learning the platforms, learning the process, getting familiar with it, gradually learning to scale it, and getting better at every aspect of this journey. So, your long-term gain is that you got to have some level of consistency for a period of time. So you do have to give it time. It's not one of those things that you just rip the band-aid off. The next one is square your finances and build your savings. And this is why I say you need to give it some time. Because if you're a single person, you need to be able to make sure you have some money in the hoppers so that you can be able to keep the lights on and keep water coming out of your faucet. That is extremely important. If if you're a single person and you don't have any other responsibilities, no kids, no spouse, no nothing like that, being able to pull the trigger, if you were able to, make an amazing windfall. And I don't include Q4. I'm going to tell you that when you're looking at your numbers, don't include Q4. Start with looking at what your data is for Q1, Q2, and Q3, because the numbers can be skewed for Q4. Some people jump into this and they think, oh, it's going to be like this all the time. No, it is not. Q4 is its own beast. And some people make more money in Q4 than they do in Q1, 2, and 3 combined. So, depending on what you sell, Q4 can be, that's fourth quarter for those people who don't know, can be misleading. That's why you need to give it time and build your finances. So don't gauge your decision to pull the trigger off of Q4 alone. You need to see what you're capable of doing in Q1, 2, and 3. Once you determine what you're capable of doing in Q1, 2, and 3, then you potentially have a sustainable solution. You also need to have a backup plan, but make sure that you have, done everything to cut your spending habits down to the bare bones as much as possible in your personal life, and then also in your business expenses. And you need to have a savings. So, again, for those that are single and don't have kids, seeing what you can do in 6 months or 9 months or even a year is good. And then also having savings set aside for 6 months, 9 months, or a year is good. If you have a family, seeing what you can do in 9 months, 12 months, 15 or 18 months is extremely important, because then you've gone through a couple of Q4s, and you've also gone through at least a year of getting through Q1, 2, and 3. And then having a savings of at least 12 to 18 months is extremely important, because you have other people who are counting on you. So that's why I say, you want to make sure that you build up a savings and cut those expenses down, get your spending down as low as you can, so that way, when there is something that happens, maybe the platform suspends you, maybe, and that happens to people, whatever their primary platform is, that can happen to you. Whether your particular item you end up getting, there's a lawsuit for it. I mean, you have to be able to think through the unintentional, unexpected. And if you're not financially prepared to be able to weather that storm, you'll definitely go back to a 9 to 5. And so be prepared for that. Prepare yourself with a little bit of savings and a little bit of cushion, and also have a game plan for what you'll do if you are, suspended from the platform. Something happens with the product that you're selling, or the manufacturer no longer produces it, or whatever it happens to be. Anything can happen. So you got to be prepared to make the transition and build up your reserves of other products, and or learn strategies on other platforms to be able to overcome that. All right, so then there's another article we're going to look at real quick. This is one I really like. It's from Novo. I've actually gone through it before, so I'm going to go through it quickly, and then we'll go through the daily econ planning checklist. So the first one is generate a plan, 15 steps to help you turn your side hustle job into a full-time business. Again, Novo, Novo, and it's 15 steps to help you turn your side hustle job into a full-time business. That's the article. So the first one is generate a plan. Absolutely. You always need to be planning. Planning is paramount to this. It's the key to potentially, like, planning and then actually executing. You can create plans all day long, but if you don't execute them, then, they're just something written on paper. You might as well be writing down doodles. So you need to make sure that you are generating a plan, and then you actually begin the process of executing it. So put together your plan for the next first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, then first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Maybe that is your strategy. Number two, know your numbers. How much do you need to be able to live on? How much do you need to be able to keep your business alive? Know what your numbers are, and then know whether or not you're achieving those numbers. So if you're looking to become $1 million seller, for some people, that's not the goal. Some people, they just want to keep the lights on and keep water coming out of their faucet. Some people are happy with $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 a month in profit. They don't need to be a millionaire. They just need enough to be able to comfortably do the things that make them happy. So if that's the case, know your numbers. What do you need to be able to live on? And what do you need to be able to keep your business alive? Those are two important sets of numbers. What's the monthly amount that you need? And then make sure that you do what you can to at least have that in some level of savings. If you're going to pull the trigger, then make sure you also have maybe some long-term care insurance. Make sure you have some life insurance. Make sure you have some short-term disability. Some people don't think about that as a self-employed individual. You do sometimes need to have that, especially if you already have some health-related challenges. So there may be times where you may not be able to actually work. Do you have any planned surgeries coming up? Like, you need to be thinking through these things before you decide to pull the trigger. Develop your why. Actually strengthen your why. Your why is the thing that's going to help you to stay focused and motivated. Well, in those days, then you don't want to be disciplined enough to get up and do the job. So, in your 9 to 5, you have an obligation to check in with the boss every single day at a certain time. When you're your own boss, sometimes you're a little relaxed. That's a challenge I'm dealing with right now with my son, my oldest. And I'm trying to teach him to develop the skills of being an actual employee. And so if you have to, in your mind, mentally check in every single day as an employee, clock in and clock out, in order to maintain and sustain that habit, that discipline that you have today, that consistency, then do that. Whatever you have to do to fake yourself out so that you can continue to do the things that you need to be doing every single day, like clockwork, even when you don't feel like it. So I want you to think about how many times have you called in sick at your job? How many times have you in a year? Just think about that. So if you call in sick at your job, 3 times in the year, as a self-employed or entrepreneur, this is your full-time gig. Don't be calling in to work, you know, 20 days out of the year. You're just doing it because it's easy. And at some point, you're going to start to see that impact of choosing to relax, be lazy, whatever you want to call it. You're going to see the impact on your bottom line because you are not going at it full steam. So again, maybe you need to psych yourself out and make sure that your why is strong enough, because if it's just for the money, you'll find another shiny object that will deter you, distract you, and you will go chase that and you will put this down. So it has to be something much bigger than just the money, because there's plenty of sites that are going to make you promises that you can do this, that, and the other. And the reality is, you go invest some time over there, stop investing time in your business. Your business will slowly start to swivel up or to die, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I probably should have continued doing that. There's something to priming the pump when it comes to this business. And so getting that pump started again, when you stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, it makes it really, really hard to say this thing really works. For those people that continually prime the pump every single day, they know it works. So again, your why has to be strong. Number 4, understand your market and your customer base. As I said before, you got to know, you got to get better at product research and keyword research and sourcing. You got to know that whatever the product is that you're offering, like if you've got a private label product or white label product, are there some complementary products that you could sell, or some seasonal related products that you can throw in with your private label product? Make some bundle opportunities and increase your average order value. Like, what are the things that you could be doing to potentially, what could you be selling in addition to serve your customer better? If you're building a brand, if that's your goal and your objective, again, what are you doing about the customer experience? So all of those things matter. Number 5, start small. Absolutely. It is starting small. It is doing some of the basics. It's, maybe you start off with retail arbitrage just to get your feet wet. And then to get familiar with it, you do a little bit of thrifting. You do a little bit of selling the stuff around your house and just getting familiar with some of the platforms. And then you start the process of gradually scaling from there. So start off small, but start building your game plan. Start assessing your results. Start reviewing what's happening and making adjustments along the way to where you feel like, okay, I think we found a spot where this sort of works. The other thing is, and I don't know that they talk about this in this article, is you got to be prepared for adjustments or shifts in the platforms. If you're relying on selling on Amazon or Walmart or eBay or Etsy or Google Shopping or Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, Poshmark, you got to know that these platforms are going to continually make adjustments. And you have to have, that's the reason why your why matters. You have to have the mentality to be able to handle, the mental strength to be able to handle those adjustments. Sometimes those adjustments are going to definitely impact your sales. You also have to be prepared to handle the changes, the adjustments that are going to happen with the social media platforms. There's always laws that are being passed. They're going to continue to pass laws. So you got to be prepared for when those things impact your sales, especially if you're a person that's running a lot of ads. So that's why I'm going back to your why for just a second. That's why your why matters, because you're going to have to be able to endure those adjustments, those shifts that are going to impact your bottom line. All of those things happen. You have to be prepared to deal with if something happens with your merchant account, or something happens with your bank account, or something happens with maybe the software that you've been using. They do an enhancement or an adjustment to it, an upgrade, and it impacts your stats and your data. All of these things are sometimes things that are out of your control to some extent. And what is your plan to be able to overcome them? And if you're not mentally tough enough to be able to handle those types of things, you're going to quit. You're going to be like, oh, they changed the stupid algorithm on the blah, blah, blah. Oh, they increased the stupid fees, or they changed the requirements for blah, blah, blah. And then you'll just be like, oh, I'm not doing this. It's too hard. So your why is extremely important. But anyway, start small. Start small, start simple, start, working the business 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week. Start small. And then gradually find some additional pockets where you can go from 10 hours to 12 hours, 12 hours to 15 hours, 15 hours, and maybe it's 20. Then you say, okay, what can I do to make 20 hours work for me? And if not, what can I do to maximize the amount of work I get done in those 20 hours? Can I, you know, buy some software that's going to increase my listings from listing, 10 a day to being able to list 40 products a day? Can I hire a VA so that I have a shadow of me? So, if I'm working 20 hours and the VA is working 20 hours, now I got 40 hours in. So, yeah, and making the VA pay for themselves by the profits that come out of the other side. So, starting small is extremely important. Set goals for your business. You do need to set milestones that you need to meet in order to say whether or not this thing is going to work for you. So, what's your first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter financial goals? What are your targets? You can take those quarterly numbers and divide it by the month. And you can take those monthly numbers and divide it by the number of days in a month so that you know what you need to be doing daily. And you need to engage in daily activities that feed towards all those goals. Listing is one of those. I think that is one of the things that people do not realize or even appreciate, how much listing every single day can actually change your business. So it is considered an income producing activity. Number 4, keep your business finances organized. Yes, you always need to know what your numbers are. You need to know where you are in this journey. So you need to know whether or not you're achieving your goals. Number 8, surround yourself with the right people. Absolutely. Connect with a group of like-minded entrepreneurs who are making this solo thing work for them, the solo journey of being a seller work for them. Maybe they've partnered up with someone, maybe they've hired a team, because you may get to that place where you're able to do those things. Or you may be content. Again, not everybody's trying to be $1 million seller. Some people are very much content with making $10,000 a month in profit, calculating what the taxes that they got to pay so they know what their net is after the taxes and just going with it. I'm talking about a profit, not in sales. So those are two different numbers. Number 9, utilize your strengths, your skills, and your strengths. Yes. What are the things that you feel like you're really good at? And definitely lean into those. The things that you don't feel like you're good at, figure out what you can do to either outsource them or do them a little bit less. Maybe partner with a service, partner with software, partner with having your VA do some of that so that the things you don't feel like you do well, you can get better at. And you can allow somebody else to do the job, especially, well, there's two different things. Things you don't do well and things that you feel are like sort of monotonous and mundane. Those are two different things. And so the things that are monotonous and mundane that you don't want to do, definitely see what you can do to outsource to a VA. But the things that are not monotonous and mundane, the things that you that you feel like you do very well, definitely lean into those. And the things you don't do well, figure out what you can put around you to be able to help you kind of get through. I won't say limp along, but just kind of get through those things. All right, number 10, outsource your weakness. Oh, well, I guess we were already there. So, so yeah, the things you feel like you don't do well, figure out if you can transition that over to some software, to a VA, to a service to be able to pick up those weaknesses. That doesn't mean that we don't want to try to get better at whatever the weakness is, because we definitely don't want to be taken advantage of. So we do need to understand at least parts of what it is that we don't do well, so that way we can be able to identify when we're being taken advantage of, especially if we're outsourcing. Number 11, find ways to scale your business. Absolutely. You always need to be looking for ways in which you can scale the business. Always, always, always make sure that you're doing that. There's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity to, increase your order value, add an extra product to something, offer two of the same thing as a bundle or a multi-pack, um, you know, transition to cross listing on multiple platforms. So look for those opportunities to be able to, um, you know, scale your business because they are there. All those opportunities are there. Number 12, take care of yourself. Look, this whole journey is about firing your boss. So if you don't take care of yourself, what's going to happen when you can't work because you're down, because you're sick, because you're exhausted, because you're not getting enough sleep, you're not eating right, you're not getting some level of exercise? You're not going to be able to sustain doing that job. Nobody wants to be in the hospital because had a heart attack or a stroke or something. Anything can happen. Do what you can to take care of yourself. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Do a better job of eating better. All of these things can be incremental, small shifts, small changes while you're on that journey to fire your boss. So make intentional decisions instead of snacking on, I don't know, Cheetos and Stickers candy bars all day while you're sitting at your desk. Make a conscious decision to try and snack on something else a little healthier every single day. So make gradual, intentional decisions that are going to, over time, benefit you. And when you do take better care of yourself, you're able to think a little clearer. You're able to make better decisions because you are able to think a little clearer. So, do what you can to take care of yourself. Get out, get a little bit of exercise. Sitting in your desk all day is not good for your body. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your health. So, get some exercise, get some fresh air. Um, you know, if working out in the morning works for you, that's fantastic. Go do that. Sometimes it will actually help you to focus a little bit better if you get exercise first thing in the morning. For some people, they like to work out late at night, whichever one works for you. Make sure you're eating a little bit better. Make sure you're drinking water. Get in and see your doctors definitely before you fire your boss, and make sure you have health care coverage and life insurance and short-term disability before you pull the trigger. Um, Number 13, network with peers for sure. Connect with other like-minded entrepreneurs so that way you have an opportunity to be able to bounce ideas and talk about your challenges. Maybe they have a solution for that. Maybe they have a suggestion. Number 14, set a deadline for quitting. Yeah, create your timeline. Determine when you're going to pull the trigger. Once you get some level of consistency and stability in what you're doing as your side hustle, if it's 3 months of, okay, I've been able to sustain this, it's not Q4, and I've been able to sustain it for at least 3 months, a full quarter. Now I feel like I can set a timeline. So 12 months from now, I'm going to pull the trigger. And that's what you can, put together a timeline that works for you based on what you think you're capable of, what your business is doing as you are evaluating and reviewing those numbers and looking at that data. Then the next thing is keep learning. I think this one people put down too much, meaning they don't take advantage of the opportunity to continue to learn new stuff. You've got to get better. Look, the platforms are going to evolve. If this is going to be your full time gig, platforms are going to evolve, technology is going to evolve, products are going to evolve. There's a lot of stuff that's going to continue to shift and change. And also platforms are going to change. And uh, if you're running ads, algorithms are going to change, so you have to be prepared to continually learn. I'm not saying spend a boatload of time on this particular topic. You can invest 1 to 2 hours a week continually mastering one thing that you feel like you're weak in or that you need to get better at, and use that as your basis. If you do that 1 hour, that's 12 hours. Sorry, not that's sorry, 4 hours a week. That's 48 hours in a year, focused on one specific thing. If you do 2 hours, that's 96 hours in a year. You're going to get better at things, and you're going to be able to set yourself up for future success so that you're prepared for almost anything, not anything, but almost anything. So, I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it to your advantage. I hope that if you decide that you're going to pull the trigger, you come back and listen to this replay. Again, I'm going to reset the room. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and I am with eCom Sellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get motivated, to get focused, to stay consistent in their e-commerce business, helping them to make the decisions that are going to help them to be able to pull the trigger. Oh, I got to stop using that phrase. Help them to rip the Band-Aid off and fire their boss if that's what they ultimately want to do. So in order to do that, you got to get organized. You got to put together a game plan. You got to get consistent in your business. So if you need help with that, I am definitely here for you. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session. If you are prepared to get organized, but you don't feel like you have the tools to do that, you can grab the My Ecom Planner. The digital version of the My Ecom Planner is available right now at 40% off, so you can grab that digital version and use that to help you on your e-commerce journey. And if you need some support along the way, you can always join eCom Sellers Academy. We're here to support you as an e-commerce seller. And so it's a community of other sellers, like-minded sellers that want to make progress in their business as well. So your success matters to us at eCom Sellers Academy. So you can go there and join. It's $17.99 a month, or you can sign up for the lifetime and get a free physical spiral planner with the lifetime membership. So now we're going to transition over to the daily ecom planning checklist. You can download the checklist directly from the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So you can go to ecomsellers.com. Sorry, you can go to e-commerce planning Facebook group, and you can go to the file section and download the daily checklist. So let's go through the checklist, the things that you need to be doing every single day. So there's 14 things, sorry, not 14, 9 things that we think that you should be doing every single day. There's 4 that are the night before and 5 the morning of. Now, are there more things you can be doing? Absolutely. But to streamline things, to make them as efficient as possible, we feel like these are key things. And again, there's more. These are not all of them that you could be doing. So the first thing is, before you go to bed, we think that you should review or assess your day. How did it go? What did you get done? What did you not get done? Were you able to follow the schedule? Were you able to achieve your goals or not? So go through and assess the day and see how you think it went. One of the things I say sometimes is, if you were, I think Dave Ramsey coined the quote. So if you were, would you hire yourself again? Like if you were the boss, would you hire yourself again tomorrow? Don't answer that question. So the goal is to get better at, following the schedule that you create, and also to get better at creating a better schedule every single day. But putting together a schedule, these are actions or activities that you take and that you do or perform every single day to help you gradually get closer and closer and more consistent to achieving your goals. So you got to make those incremental. You don't just wake up and achieve the goal. It is a gradual progression of working towards something every single day, doing an activity every single day towards the ultimate goal. That's how you get there, so that you achieve the goal. You don't just wake up and lose 100 pounds. It is the little things you do over time every single day that helps you to get there. So that's why it matters what you do every single day. So look at your daily schedule. Did you achieve it? Did you not? If you didn't, don't beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up. Grace and mercy. You're going to work to being able to build a better schedule in the future. But for right now, whatever you did get done, celebrate your wins. Celebrate what you were able to get done. Okay? Some days are not like other days. And sometimes things happen. So I get it. All right. Number 2 is to, before you go to bed, update your daily tracking stats. These are your stats around creating listings, again, income producing activities, shipments, how many orders did you fulfill, or did your service fulfill, or did your integration, whatever, fulfill, or whoever. If you're running ads, how many ads did you create, or sales, coupons, offerings, how many listings did you rework? There's a long list, and it's inside the My Ecom Planner. So you can go through that checklist of daily stats to help you to be more consistent in your business. Number 3, review your online calendar for tomorrow. So whatever's on your online calendar for work, whatever's in your online calendar for your personal life, do you have a doctor's appointment, dentist appointment? What's coming up? What are the things that you got to get done that you need to be aware of, or that you have to deal with? So look at that online calendar for your personal life, for your business, your Gmail, your Yahoo, your iCloud, whatever it is, and be prepared for tomorrow mentally. And this is the night before. And then, last but not least, build your schedule for tomorrow, whatever that looks like. Maybe you're taking things from today that you need to move to tomorrow, keeping in mind that this is June. This is the first full week of June. We're ending that first full week. So, what was on the agenda for the first full week of June? And did you achieve it? It's also the last business day of the week. It's Friday. So, are there things that you need to make sure as you're going through Thursday night that you need to make sure you get done on Friday for the first full week of June? So, keep those things in mind, build that schedule, and don't just build a schedule based on business. Make sure that you create an inclusive schedule. The Lord blesses us with 24 hours in the day. Of those, we are awake either 18 to 16 of those. So, what are you doing with those 18 to 16 hours to help you move the needle in your business and help you to get closer to that place where you will be able to rip the band aid off and fire your boss? So, what do you need to be doing? Think about that and start making sure that you incorporate activities and actions every single day that will help you get there. So, the morning of today, Friday, going through the checklist, step one is to review your schedule. Review the checklist that you've created. Make adjustments for today if you need to. Now, if there's stuff you need to do before then, get the coffee, get the kids out the door, get them off to vacation Bible school or wherever, daycare, whatever you need to do those things first. Um, if you like to go for a walk or walk the dogs or, you know, you meditate, do what you need to do first. And then we begin the process of executing the schedule. So, step one, we're going to reassess yesterday because we want to get better at creating a daily schedule. So we want to get better at creating a better Thursday schedule. We also want to learn from whatever we weren't able to accomplish Thursday. Maybe there's a valid reason where you weren't able to accomplish it. Maybe you need to add more padding and more buffer into your schedule because your kids are home for the summer. Or maybe you need to tighten it up and watch a little less YouTube and Netflix and whatever Hulu and whatever else that you are binge watching or playing on, gaming, Xbox, Nintendo, or talking outside with the neighbor next to the rose bushes. Like maybe there's some things that you can be doing a little differently. Say, hey, you know what? I'll come back. Let's talk about this, Friday evening. How about we, walk the dogs together and then I can talk about it. I really got to get back to work. That's another thing is setting that dedicated time to work your business and not allowing anything to bleed into that time. It is so important that whatever that window is, whatever that schedule is, if that's 5 hours, that you don't allow anything else to bleed into that time. You don't schedule doctor's appointments during that time. You don't, accept phone calls from relatives that you haven't talked to or friends that you haven't talked to in a long time during that time because that's not going to be a short conversation. Come on, let's just be real about it. It's going to be a long conversation. Um, that you don't, schedule time for your kids to go to soccer practice or whatever, because that's drive time that you didn't plan in to working. So again, doing your best to schedule as many things around your schedule and not allowing anything to bleed into your schedule. Since it's the summertime, I hope that you've built a schedule that maybe you've moved the things that you need to do in your business to early in the morning or late at night. Because if you're home with your kids, you got probably 9,000 interruptions all day. I raise my hand as I say that. Um, so assess, reassess Thursday, and let's see what it is we can learn from it, improve on it, so we can build a better Thursday schedule in the future. Looking at your priorities for the week, you establish the priorities for the week during your weekly planning session, and also looking at the month calendar. What were the goals that you wanted to achieve for the month of June, since this is the first full week, the end of the first full week of June. So those are things you need to see whether or not you were or were not able to accomplish the things that you had on your monthly plan. What was on there? Then number four, step four of the process is to rewrite today's schedule if you need to. I would read it. Are there things from Thursday that you need to incorporate in there? Are there things from the monthly plan that you need to incorporate in there? I would rewrite it if I need to. I would speak it out loud, speak it into existence. The great thing about reviewing the schedule before you go to bed and then reviewing it again in the morning is that, you're actually stepping into the schedule in the morning. You're stepping into your success. So, subconsciously, the night before, your subconscious mind was thinking about your schedule and what you were going to be doing on Friday. And then your conscious mind is saying, okay, in the morning, you're passing the baton off to the conscious mind to say, hey, it's time for us to get started. It's time to rock and roll. Let's do this. So, what does your schedule sort of look like? Do you have to rewrite it? If you need to, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But make sure you speak it to yourself so that you're ready to go for the day. Some people might call that manifesting, because you're manifesting your success if you're making intentional steps and taking intentional actions every single day towards the goal. So again, you're stepping into that. Let's do it. And step 5 is to write down tomorrow's schedule. Tomorrow's Saturday. I would go ahead and write down Saturday and Sunday schedule. And remember, again, you have 18 to 16 hours in the day. If you feel like you're a person that's procrastinating a lot, you're wasting a lot of time, so you won't achieve your goals, especially if you're looking to fire your boss, you gotta tighten it up. You gotta work on getting better at being able to follow that schedule. You have to work on building the discipline that's needed to be able to make the transition and rip the band-aid off. I'm so used to saying that other phrase, I've got to get it out of my verbiage. But in any case, the last thing that I want you to think about is I need you to think about um, things that are going to disrupt, interrupt, impact your daily routine. These are not emergencies. Emergencies are, well, they are emergencies. These are not planned things. So going to the doctor's office is a planned thing. That's not something you can plan around that. You can build a schedule around going to the doctor's office. You can build a schedule around going on vacation. You can build schedules around that. So you need to make adjustments to the schedule so that you can accommodate those things that are coming up that are going to impact your regular routine in some kind of way and potentially set you back or cause you to have to stop and start. So look at that because you want to sustain momentum in your business. You want to sustain the productivity because, again, you're looking to make the transition. So you have to be consistent in your business in order to make that transition successfully. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope that you share this information out to someone else and invite them to come back to the daily eCom planning sessions. This is the morning eCom motivation. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey. If that's you, I am here for you. I hope that if you do need some help, some support, some guidance, or you want somebody to bounce some ideas off, you schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me, and I can look at your schedule with you, and we can talk about what you feel like is missing if you're really on a mission to be able to make that transition. If you are not organized and you feel like you need to get organized, you can grab the My Ecom Planner. The digital version is 20% off right now. And if you need some support along the way, you can always join Ecom Sellers Academy. So with that, I hope that today you have an extremely focused, highly successful, and productive day. And with that, I will say goodbye for now. Bye. Make sure you share this out, guys.